Alright, Deus 290 coil. Give you a few demos here, and you could see this in the wild, you could be tricked. You could be tricked with this detector. Sensitive FT 6.8 disc version 200. Silencers at 1. There's people runs this machine like that. Offset at 10. We're in the square high tones. No bottle cap, no notch. Silencer 1. Speed 3. You see that nail and you see that nickel. You start putting 2 and 2 together with this detector. It can tell you stuff, but it may not tell you everything necessarily running it one way. You'll see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so I'm at silencer 1. There's no signature there for that nickel, but I'm going to turn here. Hear that nail? Now I'm over the nickel. Got a 3 in the meter. So if you heard that, you got that ID moving from 7 to 70 something, you'd probably suspect iron, you'd turn and you'd hear that, wouldn't you? And you'd walk off. You're like, oh, I got to get away from that. And you might decide to dig it, okay, and re-sweep, and you might find that nickel. But right there, okay, there's no signature there for that nickel. Silencer 0. Full sweeps. There's no signature there for that nickel. But you might hear that. See that ID, what it's doing? Going from 06 to 75. Oh, that's the nail. It's not doing that on the nickel, okay? Now, while I've got this camera running, since we're in this square high tones, and we're at 0 silencer, $42 for a disc. Silencer 0, full tones, offset at 10, no bottle cap, no notch. Alright? What happens here? You hear anything? There's no nickel signature there, boys and girls, okay? I mean, there's somebody got a program out there. You can find stuff with it. But I don't believe you'd find that nickel in the wild with that nail there with it. In that, that situation there. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off. Now remember what we got before on this nail here. And then, you turn and come across it. And you heard that's like a, hear that? That's a signature of a nail. Coming down the barrel. Okay, camera back on. Okay, now I'm still in the sensitive FT program. Disc now is at 10. Okay, with a notch of 0 to 4. Silencer at 2. We were looking at 1 and 0 earlier in this video. 5 tones with the iron bend, max for pitch and volume. No, 0 to 4 notch, no bottle caps. Okay. Silencer 2, speed 3. Same as I was before. You hear that? I mean, it's hitting that pretty good. Okay. Now, I showed you this before, coming over that nail there. Well, these settings here is not affecting that too much. You're still getting signal there with that 7 bouncing into the low 80s, okay? Now, running this machine like this, one thing we don't get to see. Notice I'm getting that signal there. Now, that's speed 3. I can go to speed 4. Here's speed 4 even. Hear that? I'll put it back to speed 3. So what we don't get to hear when you're running the machine like I've got it set up right now, we get to hear that, and we get to see that meter. It's got that 5 in it. Okay? So we really don't know what we got, do we? Well, I guess what I can do here, I'm just going to transition to the fast program. Now, this is bone stock fast program. So if I was in the wild running this sensitive FT like I'm talking about, even at a silencer 2, now you can run it at a silencer 1. The machine is going to be a little more aggressive on some of the iron. I'm not going to bullshit you. But you clearly could see you're not going to find that nickel as such running this machine with a 6.8 disc or a 42 disc with a 0 silencer. It's not going to happen. So if you did get in the wild and you got over this 5 right here, I'm back in sensitive FT. Hear that? Boom. Now you could turn on it, okay? And I'm still getting a 5. Now if I get the coil out here a little farther, if there's no masking, you start getting normal tonal presentation, you know, on maybe like a nickel. So if you got that in the wild, you're like, and you mash, let's say you went to fast program, and you swept like that right there. Well, that iron tone is more or less got the sound of a nail. Like, uh-oh, look at that. I'm coming down the barrel of a nail. But why have I got a 5 coming out here on the end in sensitive FT? Now, you can sweep out here with the fast program. You're getting a 7. Now, if you keep backing the coil up, okay. So it might tell you it might tell you something about the scenario, you know, if you just went to a fast program, 6.8 disc with iron tone on, you're like, I got a nail right there. And out here to the right, I'm getting a 5 in the meter. Why? Oh, you don't reckon there's a non-ferrous target down there, huh? Possibly. You notice iron tone quits. See what I'm saying? See, I'm not getting any iron tone over here. There's no iron here. But I am right there. So you might use 2 of these programs, toggle from one to the other, using this what I'm trying to show you, you know, when you're looking for the most crippled targets. It might help you, you know, like, uh-oh, that's a nail. I think there's a nail there. And I'm coming down the barrel as such. Okay, and then you go to, you know, you found it like this, sensitive FT. Hear that? That's pecking that pretty good, ain't it? Consistent. Notice that. Any kind of regular sweep speed. It's not like it's hitting it and not hitting it. As long as you keep your speed and coil position pretty consistent. Alright. I guess what I could do, in the rest of this video, I'll remove that nickel there. I'm still in sensitive FT with a silencer of 2. Okay, and now I'm over here. Hear that? Well, now I'm going to toggle to basically the stock fast program. Of course, that's pitch tones, but you notice it's lighting that nail up too. So that don't have anything to do with necessarily what Sharpshooter has done to this sensitive FT program. You're still going to get that. You're even going to get that with a 42 disc in that machine. Sensitive FT, let's try it. Let's just dial the disc on this dude to 42. Alright? See? Now some of that high tone you hear coming in there, it may have something to do. Yeah, see, it is not going to reset for me. I dial that disc up. I'm not sure. I can see if it'll let me do it here. I'm dialing the tone back down. The pitch, I'm going to go all the way down with it to 202 this time. That's pretty close. See? That's a 42 disc, and you're still getting that. So, you know, that's not really got anything to do with what I'm doing with this machine. Showing you what you might be able to do with it in the wild. I hope you enjoyed.